Hey, we're back. We're back. And we're going to be talking about the music of Ace Attorney. We have several Ace Attorney games available to us to select from, but we're going to start from right to left like traditional Japanese manga. So obviously, first on the docket is going to be Ace Attorney Investigations 2. What do y'all think of the music in this game? What can you say about it?
Oh man, it's good. It's got some really distinctive investigation themes. It's one of the things that really stands out to me. The like regular walking around investigating stuff theme is really memorable and sets a really nice mood. I also loved what they did with the flashback stuff of giving Gregory Edgeworth such a very distinctive music that sounds different from the rest of the game in a way that really kind of emphasizes, yeah, this is something in the past that's a little bit different from what everyone else has been doing.
Yeah, I can be on board with that. I actually bought Ace Attorney Investigations 2. I bought the game with the soundtrack. If you bought the special edition, which was like $10 more expensive for me to get, you got a CD and DVD, and like the DVD, which I think Aura and Misty we watched together at some point, it had like an entire like not visual novel, but like an entire act, I guess. It was like a kind of semi-animated sequence of like
all the TGS things.
Yeah. But the music I'm getting sidetracked here, of course, but like the music in this game is pretty good. I feel like we need to come up with a way of scoring it, because we just have S, A, B, C, D.
I feel like we're probably going to end up shifting things around a little bit relatively based on how we feel about the later ones. Like, I don't know if we need to worry about everything being permanent from the start. There's not too many things here.
Okay. I don't feel like this is an A tier music. Sorry, S tier.
I feel like it's an A.
Yeah, I feel like it's an A, yeah.
Like, I feel like it's consistently really good.
Yeah, it's hard for me to take it as a whole. I can like think of some of my favorite tracks from it, and I think it's got some really solid ones. I think a lot of the like logic chess stuff from Investigations 2 were pretty good tracks.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of compare it against like some of the Cornered in Pursuit from earlier series, and like it stands up as sort of like a high intensity track that gets your blood pumping, you're ready for the big reveal. I think it stands out pretty well.
Yeah, I think its Pursuit is notable for being one of the better ones, generally speaking.
Okay, have you got anything?
I haven't actually played through this one just yet, so I was flipping through some of the things on the cloud, and I agree. Like, I like the logic chess stuff, but like just flipping through like randomly through some tracks, like I'm good.
I'm in agreement. I feel like it's definitely like an A tier. Like I will say like the logic chess music is probably one of my favorite tracks in the entire.
Yeah, I totally forgot about this Pursuit. As soon as you mentioned that, I just pulled it up. Yeah, it is one of the better Pursuits. You're right. I mean, it's an A that I could see getting bumped down if other better stuff shows up.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and then we have the game that is sort of maligned by me, but
music is
so good,
better than the game deserves.
It's
well, I mean, so I think if we're gonna view this through the Ace Attorney lens, I think the music does really well because it has a lot of that latent influence in it. That's sort of really sort of low, melancholic, sort of pondering music that's true of Layton, but it like fits really well with Ace Attorney in some ways.
And another thing for me is I played Great Ace Attorney 1 first and then Layton, and doing it in that order, I'm like, oh wow, I see where the Great Ace Attorney music came from. This set the path for it, which is cool.
I think in general, as an entire game, Layton versus Right suffers in comparison with Great Ace Attorney.
I think you put it best initially, though. It's like better music than the game deserves. Like if there's one standout element of the music of the game, it's the music, and that's really where a lot of it ends.
I have played the hell out of the soundtrack for this game many times, and I've actually went and bought very special edition of it, which I posted on co-host, which included a animation cell with it. I'm of the opinion it's S tier, and it's really funny because I would not put the game in there.
No, absolutely not.
I wouldn't rank
I
it
think-
above Investigations 2 personally, but
Yeah, I will say that the thing for me that knocks it out of S is I think that there's a lot of really weak chord arrangements of the first game's songs in the beginning in the prologue case.
That's fair.
the other thing is we have Great Ace Attorney coming up, and Great Ace Attorney is clearly a higher tier than this one in the same style of music.
And
so-
I have opinions about the soundtrack. Kay, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay. Spirit of Justice,
one's
though.
this?
Spirit of Justice.
Oh man, I really like Spirit of Justice soundtrack.
The pursuit theme for Athena alone is one of the best pursuit themes in the series, I want to say.
Yeah, Athena's super souped up objection is really incredible.
I love her objection. I also really like Nayuta's song.
And also the Dirk's theme is incredible.
The other thing about the music in this game that I really like, and it's not in the soundtrack, which so it's annoying, is Rafa's song when she dances. And
Oh yeah.
it's such
Will die
a
and
good-
Rafa dances.
Yeah,
When will she stop dancing?
I know, right?
When will she stop?
But like when she goes out and starts doing that dance, it's just like, holy crap, this is phenomenal. But like for whatever reason, it's not on the soundtrack.
When special call out for the Plume Punisher theme also.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was rad. I was like, what is going on with this track?
I think this game has top tier music. I don't know. It has a lot of really memorable music.
Yeah, I think that this is probably, if not S tier, at least A tier.
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put into S tier only because of mainly because of Athena's theme song. Like, yeah, you're right. Her pursuit song is like really good. I would hesitate to put it at the same level as Investigations 2. I think it's a better soundtrack than Investigations 2.
Hmm.
All right, sounds like
I
we've
think-
come up with a good one here then.
Yeah.
All right.
Dual Destinies.
We have Dual Destinies. That's a weak soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can remember any songs in that soundtrack. To be
No, I'm
honest.
like flipping through them to try to recall any of them.
The only good song in Ace Attorney 5 is the the Logic Route, Thought Route song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like the Brain Blast music.
Yeah.
I call it Jack Attack.
I like it.
Honestly, I remember Black Quill's theme.
That's a good
And-
theme.
Hmm.
The theme alone is really good, but then I think about all of the interactions that went along with it.
I'll also give it this. It's probably one of the better remixes of Phoenix's objection theme, that one.
Mhm.
But these are all very lukewarm praise.
I'd call this a C,
Right.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We can bump it up later if there's nothing below it, I
we're,
guess.
we're gonna have to like revisit this because like there's gonna
Mhm.
be like some thinking here.
AJ's so good.
How about Ace Attorney Apollo Justice?
S
The
tier.
jazz type top sound. Oh, it's so good.
It stands out on its
So
own.
so good. There's a reason they took that objection theme and used it for Apollo's theme for the rest of the series.
Uh-huh.
If
Yeah,
you've heard
this-
it orchestrated, it's really good.
Apollo Justice had like a really good soundtrack overall. I don't know. I'm listening to some of the themes again, and I'm just like, I'm remembering moments of the game as I'm listening to them,
Mhm.
going like, getting goosebumps.
Brew Studio is maybe one of the downright eeriest songs in the entire series. Like
Mhm.
it's incredible.
And it's got, I think, maybe my favorite court lobby prelude theme in the series.
Yeah.
It sets a mood, like in general, the soundtrack sets a mood that manages to set itself apart from the previous 3 games while being incredibly strong at every level.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I will say, I will dock it points for one thing. I am not a fan of the cross-examination music in Ace Attorney 4. I feel like that's where its weakest is. Like, When it gets into Allegro, it's kind of okay, but like I just kind of feel like that's the only aspect of the soundtrack that kind of bugs me.
I'm fine
I
with it
like
being
that
an
questioning theme, actually.
What's that? Sorry.
I personally really like it, but that questioning theme, it works strongly for me.
I really like the Allegro, honestly.
That's where
Mhm.
the Allegro makes up for it, and yeah, I hesitate to put this in S, but like I would
High A tier.
high A tier for sure. We're gonna be reorganizing this.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Everything basically goes into A. We'll have to bump some things up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like re-listening to the cross-examination theme, and it's very repetitive, as most cross-examination themes are. But
Yeah, but that's damning when you're going to be listening to it for the next 20 minutes.
yeah,
You love that all the discussion around A4's music is carefully avoiding all the music in the plot. Are we talking about the really weird song that was sung by has
Oh,
the
the
strange
one
lyrics?
song you have to listen to like 30 times.
Yeah, that's not
Guitar
the worst.
Serenade.
Yeah, the guitar.
I
Yeah.
I wonder if I wouldn't. I wonder if I would feel differently about that song if I didn't have to hear it so many times.
It's
Like-
definitely overused, is the real problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. Like, you gotta listen to it so many times, and then it's like, it's evidence, right? So you're going to have to do it, so...
I don't know if that's the song's fault, though.
No, because we're gonna talk about another song that actually will make me want to scream. Alright, well, let's get to Great Ace Attorney 2, and I'm gonna say
Yes.
this right off the bat.
Yeah.
It is an automatic S tier, and then you're going to find out why I have a problem with the first soundtrack.
like,
Yeah,
like
fine.
just on the basis of the music that plays during the final case, like even the final two cases, that game deserves an S tier. Like the unique logic, whatever they call it, logic dance theme for the final one there.
Oh
Like
my God,
all
yes.
of the special remixes of the court themes for the final case. Like it's unbelievable.
I was screaming when I got to play that part because, like, I had purposely played this so far after Auth had played it, just so I could forget as much as possible. And like, I got to this part and I was like, this music's phenomenal, this bit is great, and goddamn is Herlock ever a fucking dickhead.
So good.
Ah,
It's
So good.
there's no way in hell it's anything but S tier, and it's just good.
mm-hmm.
And like, again, like, you can, like we were talking about earlier, like Leighton versus Wright led to these two games having like this soundtrack, this theming and everything. The one thing I will say about this that makes it really, really interesting is, actually no, I'm going to talk about this when we get to Great Ace Attorney, because I don't think I should talk about this just yet.
Can I also say that I really love Susato's unique objection theme from the first case?
Yes.
Mm.
There's actually a name for it. It's like, she also has a theme song for it too. It's like Ballad of a Girl Attorney or something like that is what it's called.
Prelude to the Blossoming Attorney.
Yes, thank you. But like, I will, yeah, automatic S tier.
Also, the addition of the Pursuit Overture. The Prelude to Overture song that plays when you're selecting the evidence for the pursuit.
Right.
So good.
Right. Yeah, I don't
Which
have
is a
any-
wholly new addition to the series, also.
What was that bit again?
They added an additional track that is like a lead-in to the pursuit theme that only plays when you're selecting the evidence for something that's
right.
about to trigger a pursuit theme, and
That's
it's like
cool.
it's like a wholly new mechanical addition because that's not something they've ever done in any other game, and it works really well.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
Yeah.
I had to think about that. Yeah.
I've never played it, but
I'm sure subconsciously I realized it. Like, I'm sure subconsciously I recognized the music sort of building to a crescendo, but I don't know that I ever like noticed, hey, this is like a different thing that didn't happen in other games.
yeah, that's really cool.
Here, I'm gonna, just for the people in here, I'm gonna link it in the little chat thingy. Oh, I'm not allowed to send messages.
Send it to the DM then.
Wow.
I gotta listen to this. It'll play through this. It'll play through this.
Yeah, let me. Okay, I'm putting it in the. There it is.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
the-
yeah.
It's designed so that it can break into the pursuit theme at any moment when you hit the button.
Right, I remember this now.
Oh.
Yes, that was superb. That was definitely superb.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, well, there we go. We definitely know where this game sits for music. Investigations 1, though.
I think it's weak. I think
It's
that
unmemorable.
it. I
Yeah.
think that it has really whatever. Like the tracks that I expect to be good, like Pursuit and Allegro, are pretty blah. Presto's okay. Presto's fun as an addition, but like, I just think that it's not up to par.
It fun tracks, but it definitely feels like Investigations 2 manages to be a more successful version of what it was doing. The objection theme is really good, but an objection theme alone is not going to carry the whole game.
Man, the cross-examination theme is so bad in this game.
My problem with this is, from what I remember, is that it relied way too much on piano. And like in a game,
I'll say this.
Okay.
I'll say this for it. It has a really good Gumshoe remix.
Well, the funny thing is the Gumshoe theme song wasn't originally a Gumshoe song. Because it was originally an investigation song, wasn't it?
I mean, it was his theme.
Fair
Poor
enough.
Gumshoe.
It's called I Can Do It When It Counts, pal. What a good name for a song.
Oh my god. Gumshoe, quit your job and become a toy maker, please. All right, it goes into D tier. Honestly, it's not it's not memorable.
Like when I'm going back and listening to the songs, like I'm remembering things that I remember from like playing the game, but I feel like I should more remember things that I played from the game and go, oh man, the music that played during that part was so good.
Gumshoe's theme sounds awful like the Terminator theme. I mean, kind of hate that. Yeah, I can see. yeah, okay. I'm on board with this. It's a little unsettling, but I'm on board with this.
We'll remix it like we do Gaslight with Robo's theme.
All right, we know where this game sits. All right, we're going to talk about Justice for All, or Ace Attorney 2. There's one track we all hate. We don't even if you played Ace Attorney 2, you could just say there's one track we all hate, and there's gonna be no effort in trying to figure out what that track is.
For a moment, I didn't know what you were talking about, and then I realized it's because I blanked it out of my memory.
As one should. Oh, yeah, here's the other problem, is that song makes a reappearance in Investigations 2. Anyway.
Of course it does.
Yeah, it does. It kind of
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I think 2 is musically the weakest of the original trilogy.
Agreed, quite strongly.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, I don't know if it falls as a C or what here, but
It-
I'd put
it also
as
has-
a C just because there's a circus.
It also
feel
has
like-
the unfortunate role of being placed between, in my opinion, 2 of the stronger. I mean, we'll hash those out after this, but like, I feel like 1 and 3 are both incredibly strong, and having 2 right in between them only exacerbates that issue. Like, it just
Yeah.
highlights how much weaker it is comparatively.
yeah.
Also, frankly, maybe the worst objection theme in the series. Like, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I can side with you on that. Like, I will say this, when you are doing the cross-examination music is very good, but when it's sped up, I feel like it gets a little bit off the rails. Anyway, that's kind of my thought on it. Ace Attorney 3, though.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
This edges out 1 for me.
Agreed.
I'm going to say this about... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't know that it edges out 1 just because I'm a big sucker for like that. I always tend to be drawn toward first impressions, like Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney being my first impression of the series, like all of the music is infinitely memorable to me, but it is up there, and I think that that's hard to accomplish for me personally, which only speaks to how good Trials and Tribulations is.
I will say this, in case 3-5, when you are wandering around the village and you run into Iris and you're like, you don't know it's Iris yet, but the music is well set at that point because you're just kind of creeped out, bothered, on the edge of your seat the entire time, and you're like, what's gonna fucking happen here? And then all of a sudden, the bridge is on fire, Phoenix is running across that bridge, and the music is just ramped the hell up. And like, that to me was just like, everything just snapped at that point. And that's what really made the music in that game stand out, was just, it was done, I would say, almost perfectly for what the game is.
So
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think 3 establishes a thing that would become pretty commonplace later in the series, but I feel like was less common before it, which is using the Courtroom Begins theme in a different sense at the end of the case, like recontextualizing it in a way that feels like, oh, it's over. And in that sense, the court song for 3 is maybe one of the best in the series. Like when it plays at the very end of the final case, you're just emotionally destroyed.
However I feel about the overall soundtrack, I will say 3 also happens to have my favorite song in the entire series, which is Fragrance of Dark Coffee. So
Yes.
And can I also just call out both of the character themes for the second case, Master Mask's theme and Luke Atmay's theme, as being really top tier character themes?
So where do we put this then?
I think it's an A at minimum.
I'm inclined to say S, but I also think
Yeah.
we're running the risk of Ace Attorney games in general just going in S. So
I feel like it's a strong A, and we're gonna redo this anyway. So
We might end up moving some of the A's into the B category.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
there's a lot of A's.
All right, we're gonna talk about Great Ace Attorneys. I actually have thoughts on it.
Okay.
What do you all think of Great Ace Attorney's music?
Consistently strong, not my favorite.
Kate?
I have no strong opinions.
I haven't played this one, so I opt myself out.
Fair enough.
It's got music.
It's got music.
Like, I certainly don't think there's any bad tracks in there. I think
No.
it's mostly just like Great Ace Attorney 2 takes all of those tracks and then adds even better stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Misty, did you have anything you want to add before I say something?
Not specifically. Go for it.
Okay, so my opinion is that Great Ace Attorney 2 has far better music than Great Ace Attorney 1, even though Great Ace Attorney 2 actually uses a lot of the music from Great Ace Attorney 1, because there's like a lot of overlap, right? But I will say that like a lot of the thematic music that exists in Great Ace Attorney, while good, is just, it feels like it's coming up a little short, and I'm going to then say this, and this one is where the controversy comes out. I feel like it's weaker than Leighton versus Wright.
Disagree.
And that's okay.
Leighton versus Wright is good, but I don't think it is as good as
From a
Like-
game
like-
standpoint, I will.
GAA has a really strong identity, and Leighton versus Wright is leaning too hard on Leighton tropes for me, I guess. I don't know. This is the thing. I came into Leighton versus Wright having played the entire Leighton series, and so it was less impressive to me in that sense because a lot of the Leighton tied stuff is very similar to or almost blatantly reused from those games. Like, it's a
I
nice
think that's
orchestration,
fine,
don't get
yeah.
me wrong. But like, it's less exciting to me for that reason.
So
Sure.
should we put this in A tier then?
Easily.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, it's
I think I agree with you though. I also played a whole bunch of Leighton games before I played Leighton versus Phoenix Wright, so I could kind of like have some context for it because I hadn't played any of them before that. And you're right, but I think my argument is more that I think if we're viewing it as a Phoenix Wright game, the Leighton music I think complements it well, and that's the only reason why I think it works for me. But I mean, if we looked at this list in its final state and we said B is empty and A is long, I would be fine with cutting that list at Phoenix Wright versus Leighton and bumping everything down to B.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, well, let's get to the last game, and then we'll discuss how this list should really look like, which is going to be the first game.
I mean,
This is so hard because
it's so formative. I mean, I think it's like Super Mario Brothers doesn't hold up all that great as a game, but it set the stage for an entire franchise. And in the same way, I think Phoenix Wright has strong music. It's like a lot of it was better done later in the series, but at the same time, like it set the stage for so much amazing music down the road.
I think my strong opinion here is that I think the court themes are so formative that it's hard to look past them as being like what they are. Like there's a reason that Pursuit theme is the meme song. I do think some of the individual case tracks are kind of forgettable.
I kind of feel the same way. Like I'm on the same page as Off. Like everything that happens with the music in this game sets the tone for every other game that comes after it in the mainline series, right? Like it exists because it needed to exist for the rest of the music to exist in itself. It
was a strong start that they had to continuously try to live up to.
Yeah,
is my take.
And I don't think it's wrong to think of games that come after it having better music. Like this game was originally developed for a Game Boy Advance, right? And most of the soundtracks that you can get your hands on are actually the Game Boy Advance version and not the DS. And as a result, like you can hear what they were trying to do with the GBA's, sound processor, and they did a damn good job for its time.
Yeah,
I mean, all three of the original trilogy were GBA games.
They
though.
were, yeah. And the only music that wasn't in the GBA version, but's in the DS, is what appeared in Case 1.5.
Yeah.
So
But the DS version soundtrack is significantly different sounding from the original GBA version. Like really different.
Yeah, they significantly upgraded the music.
They did. And when you play the GBA sound processor, aka the CP, well, yes. But nonetheless, I would hesitate to make it S tier because
This is so hard for me because like when I looked at this beforehand, I was like, yeah, I could put this in B. Why not? And then I started listening to the music, and I'm like, it's all good.
I mean, I think this one, I don't know what it means for the other one, but I think this one lives right at the cusp of A and S for me, and I don't know whether or not that affects where Trials and Tribulations ends up as well, because it also lives at the cusp of A and S for me.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this is a sign that
we need
to
look at this list.
reevaluate Investigations 2.
Yeah. Well, I say maybe we bump Trials and Tribulations up to S, because basically
I'm okay
I
with
feel
that.
like Trials and Tribulations took what 1 did really well and made it better.
Agree.
I'm gonna go.
I think that's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
I support that.
But then we have an empty B tier
I still stand by what I said before. With how things laid out now, I'm fine with taking everything from Leighton to the end and bumping it down
Yeah.
to B.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think I'm happy with this layout.
All right, so we're gonna say S tier is gonna be Ace Attorney: Spirit of Justice, followed by Great Ace Attorney 2, and then followed by Ace Attorney: Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah.
I mean,
Eight-
I think
And
I think that's
you know
pretty
what?
good. Yeah.
If you think about this too, and I don't know what systems GAA came out on because I haven't played them personally
DS
yet,
and
other than
Switch and
PC.
all that, yeah.
Okay.
3DS and Switch. Yeah.
3DS.
It was originally 3DS.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I feel like we've picked the end of the era on GBA and then the end of the era on 3DS.
Yeah,
You're right.
it's not wrong though.
No,
I think our music lineup also matches what I think most people kind of feel about the strongest games as well, which I mean, the music and the gameplay in
Yeah.
Ace Attorney often lines up fairly well. I think a lot of people favor the last games of each of the trilogies and
Yeah.
series.
I
yeah.
feel like it's one of those things where when you make a game this narrative, like
We
the
should- we
best
should
music on
keep-
some level is the music that enhances the narrative.
Right.
We'll talk about the games overall, but we should probably
Sure.
stay on the music just to be topical here. I guess with A tier, we're gonna say the first one, Ace Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, followed by Great Ace Attorney, followed by Apollo Justice. Apollo Justice stands out a little bit weird where it sits.
I'm perfectly happy with it being there and could even be comfortable with moving it higher, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, we could probably move it above Great Ace Attorney if you
Yeah.
feel it's weird where it is.
That's a hard call. Misty?
Oh, I just meant like.
I mean,
next
not
to it.
S, just left.
Yeah, just move it left.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh, come
look-
on. Come on. Yeah, Tier Maker's like, no, I have a different opinion. Okay, we're getting into B territory, which is Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright and Investigations 2. I have such a soft spot for the soundtrack.
I think Layton's probably below Investigations 2 to
Yeah,
me,
agreed.
but I think that they're both where they belong.
Okay, fair enough. C tier will be Dual Destinies and Justice for All. They're just meh.
The middle of their series, just the tragic middle of their series as always.
They got the hand-me-down music.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, wait, Dual Destinies didn't get hand-me-down music. Technically, that would be the S tier anyway, but you know what I mean. And then finally, we have in D tier Investigations 1, which I'm going to side with this. It's not memorable at all.
Yeah, I'd love to argue, but like I don't remember enough of the music, which I think puts it in D tier.
It's
All
just
right.
not good.
Well, I'm going to save this image because that's definitely going to be it. I'm actually surprised that this part only took us this long. We'll just take a quick little break and won't be very long. We'll get into the cases. So
Sounds good.
we'll be right back.
Mhm.